Welcome back to Thirsty Thursdays. This cocktail is a piece of American history. We're going back in time for today's cocktail. It's vibrant, rosy-hued, and it looks like a simple fruity classic. But underneath its beautiful presentation, it is a bold, spicy whiskey cocktail created in a time of political tension. We're making the Ward 8. It's an aggressive, beautiful cocktail, and it's the definitive cocktail of Old Boston. The Ward 8 was born in 1898 at the legendary Loch Ober Cafe in Boston, Massachusetts. Its purpose was simple: to celebrate an electoral victory. The cocktail is, at its core, a brilliant riff on a classic whiskey sour, the same foundational template that birthed thousands of other cocktails. The sour family has three parts: the spirit, the citrus, and the sweetener. A classic whiskey sour uses whiskey, lemon juice, and simple syrup. The Ward 8 swaps that single sweetener for a duo that provides incredible depth: orange juice and grenadine. The orange rounds out the tartness, and the grenadine provides a beautiful, complex sweetness and that signature red color. But the story behind this cocktail is as tart as its lemon juice. The Ward 8 was created to honor one man, Martin M. Lemazny, a Democratic political boss of Boston's 8th Ward. The 8th Ward was notorious for delivering Lemazny and his party a winning margin in every election, making him one of the most powerful figures in the state for decades. The historical irony here is quite strong though. Lemazny, the man whose triumph was celebrated with this fiery new cocktail, was, by all accounts, a lifelong teetotaler. He never drank it, and in a final twist of fate, Lemazny was a staunch prohibitionist whose political success ultimately led to the very laws that forced the celebrated Loch Ober Bar to close its doors during the dry years of Prohibition. Now talk about toasting a politician who bit the hand that fed him. Now, we'd think for a cocktail with such a clear origin story, the creator would be equally clear, but we'd be wrong. The story gets murky right at the bar, specifically over which bartender at Loch Ober deserves the credit. The most widely repeated story names a man called Tom Hussein. He is the one most often cited in historical articles as the bartender who mixed this rosy cocktail for Lemazny supporters back in 1898. However, some historians, like the renowned David Wondridge, have dug into the archives and found conflicting accounts. They suggest Hussein might not have even started working at Loch Ober until 1900, 2 years after the supposed invention. Other contenders have emerged from the shadows of history: a fellow Loch Ober bartender named Billy Kane, or even a man named Charlie Carter at a different club entirely. The simple truth is that the Ward 8 was a definitive cocktail of the Loch Ober Cafe during that era, but the precise hands that first shook it are lost to history. So while we may never know the bartender's name, we do know the reason for the cocktail: a toast to a political victory right in Boston's infamous 8th Ward. Now let's make this historically significant cocktail. We're going to start off with 2 ounces of rye whiskey poured into our shaker. Unlike smoother bourbon, rye offers a bold, spicy, peppery kick that stands up to the citrus juice and cuts through the sweetness. It's necessary to keep the cocktail from becoming cloying. Next, we need 3/4 of an ounce of fresh lemon juice. This is our primary acid, providing the required foundational tartness of any good sour. Now, to soften that tart edge, we add 1/2 ounce of fresh orange juice. This is key to the Ward 8's uniqueness. The orange acts as a bridge, mellowing the lemon and allowing the whiskey spice to integrate with the fruit. All right, into our shaker it goes. Finally, we'll add our color and complex sweetness: 1/2 ounce of our Liber & Company real grenadine syrup. Forget the neon red corn syrup you might know. Authentic grenadine is a syrup made from pomegranate juice, and it lends a rich, slightly tannic, and genuinely fruity sweetness that sets this cocktail apart. Add your ice, lock it up, and shake it like Lemazny shook the Boston political machine, hard and with determination. Now strain that gorgeous rosy mixture into your favorite coupe or chilled cocktail glass. Now we're gonna garnish this with 2 maraschino cherries speared right down the middle. And there you have it, the 8th Ward. Let's taste it. Oh yeah, that's bold, but in all the right places. This is a beautiful, bold cocktail. You'll like this if you appreciate the spicy, peppery backbone of a high-proof rye whiskey, cutting right through the fruit. It gives the cocktail structure and bite. This is not a juice bomb. It's perfectly balanced between the tart citrus and the round sweetness of the orange and grenadine. If you enjoy a classic whiskey sour or a Jack Rose, you'll appreciate this sophisticated, fruity riff. The inclusion of genuine grenadine, with its rich, slightly tannic flavor of pomegranate, elevates the sugar beyond simple syrup. It adds a layer of depth that keeps the cocktail interesting from the first sip to the last. However, if your cocktails usually lean heavily towards sugar, like a sweet Midori sour or a very sweet and sour mix, the spicy kick of the rye and the sharp tang of the citrus blend might catch you by surprise. And if you find the spicy, aggressive nature of rye whiskey to be too much, you may prefer a softer spirit. Substituting with a sweeter bourbon will make the cocktail rounder and gentler, but you'll sacrifice that classic Ward 8 bite. And while it is red and has juice, it doesn't taste like punch. The complexity comes from the interaction of the rye, the two citrus types, and the grenadine. Don't expect a straightforward, simple flavor. This is a layered, political boss kind of cocktail. And that's it for this Thirsty Thursdays. If you loved this deep dive into cocktail history, be sure to hit that like button, drop a comment below, and subscribe so you don't miss out on next week's Thirsty Thursday. You can find the link to our real Grenadine in the description below. Until next time, stay thirsty, my friends. Cheers.